So this is Jag's first real love interest in the book. We arranged to meet for a movie, some horror flick, I can't recall, on a Saturday night. It was early June, hot and icky, even after dusk. She wore a pink baby t-shirt with I break things on the front and a black pleated skirt that swayed with her hips as she sashayed toward me outside the mall's multiplex theater. Her lips were wide and welcoming. I gave her a bird of paradise I'd been hiding behind my back. We embraced like lovers too long apart. She smelled of clothes and shampoo. When we separated, I held her hand, stepped back to drink in her mongrel beauty. She was a rare crossbreed of European, French, Spanish, Dutch, Asian, Filipino, African via the West Indies slave trade, and North American Arawak ancestry. A true blue American. My first impression, Earth Mother Goddess. Her untamed hair, milk chocolate, auburn tinted, bleached from the sun, framed a lot of naughty eyes shaped like almonds. I longed to take them into my mouth. There seemed to be a sweet sadness to her smile, like she'd been beat down through no fault of her own, but never knocked out. Her arms were smooth, toned, tan. I could tell she lifted weights. Her heels pumped her calves, too. This sexy young mama, that was her handle on the Fallen Angels online social network where we met her, sexy with 3 X's and 2 E's. This sexy young mama was a powerful girl. Her name, Shenandoah Brousseau. Since we'd arrived early, we were able to chat before the previews and military recruitment ads kicked in, and the people nearby hissed at us. I opened with a question on her equal opportunity lover pitch in her ad. She sipped her soda.
That old confession never fails to get the boys going.
She pursed her lips into a perfect O.
I fancy girls.
She said in her sumptuous country lilt.
They're soft and beautiful, juicy like a Georgia peach, yummy like pecan pie. Girls are just plain kissable, lovable, the best ever. It's a fact of life.
I won't deny it, I said, adjusting myself in the seat.
Now men...
She paused for some real butter popcorn.
I'm attracted to manliness, broad chests, strong arms that hold you like a man.
I tensed my forearm, bringing the veins to the surface. She ran her fingers along the blue lines.
Men are necessary, like bacon and eggs for breakfast. Girls are dessert, say hot fudge sundae with cherry pie on top.
Her poetry was intoxicating, her frankness almost shocking, and in truth a little intimidating. She wasn't like the other girls I'd known. She went on about how she was into spanking and restraints and various lubricated accessories, including strap-ons.
I'm open to pretty much anything,
she said.
If there's trust, that's the hard part.
She pulled away from me. I'm with you, I said. How can you know about the trust? I reached for the popcorn in her lap.
It's a funny thing. Contrary to popular notion, I've found in my experience that most guys tend to have trouble with me being with girls.
I arched my eyebrows.
It's true. They get all worried up in themselves, thinking they're not man enough to do it for me. But that's not what it's at all. It's just different. Cats and dogs.
Oh, you like it when it's raining, I said, aiming for wit.
Bullseye.
She faced me all excited now.
It's like most men are cat folk or dog folk, exclusive. And they don't get it that they all cuddle bunches that come running when supper's on. They all get fleas and they all got claws.
Do go on. I was test driving my newfound southern politics. Shannon told me about a guy she was with for a spell, two plus years of life and love. The only man she'd ever met uncomplicated with sharing a girlfriend on the side.
He goes and violates our agreement.
She said.
Breaks the rules in our own bed.
She sipped her soda through the straw. Rules? I was lost.
Trust.
She said.
He violated the trust between us.
I nodded.
See?
she whispered in my ear.
The rule was he would only come inside me.
Tough love.
And when they thought I was sleeping in the very same sheets, I hear him scratching and moaning and saying how he loves her, and then she's up and gives him twins.
Ouch, I said.
What can you do?
Kick his ass to the curb.
Oh, believe it, I did.
She said.
But the man broke my heart. That's girl, too. She was sexy as hell. I wanted to kill her in her sleep.
If I'd been there, I'd have held her down for you. She smiled.
We had a dreamy thing going, but I reckon he'd have to wake up when the chickens come home.
I wanted to say if I were him, I never would have made such a choice, but I couldn't rightly imagine making such a bed. I'm old school, it seems like. Despite the downsides, I see the value of monogamy. I used to thrive on such security, real or imagined. I shook my head in silence.
So to answer your question,
She said.
I don't think you can ever know for sure. Just open your heart and love like the whole world's at war.
Shannon appeared to be in control, well-balanced and passionate, forgiving. I felt inferior by her side, nowhere near at peace. She explained how that was her last serious relationship. Her priorities since then, going on 13 months, were raising her son the best she could and slaving as an office temp and part-time body worker when her carpal tunnel wasn't crippling, to dig herself out of credit card debt run up by the heartbreakers. I told her about the ex and my recent bad behavior. I knew she wouldn't judge or force-feed me lame advice. He got arrested for losing it on the porch of his ex-wife's place. I expected she'd provide a sympathetic ear. What I hadn't anticipated was her clear-sighted way with words.
It's all good, sweetie.
She said, interlacing her fingers with mine.
Perfectly understandable. You've been wronged. You're hurting. You want what's right. No more, no less.
Sounds like a song I played earlier. She saw through my bitterness to what lay beneath, forgave me for being helpless to act otherwise. She didn't care that I was broken a fraction of myself. She would accept me in pieces, put me back together. I was glad the movie started then, afraid I might tear up, not the manliest maneuver on a first date. We held each other close, licked butter from our fingers. About an hour in, nuzzling at her neck, I kissed her. It felt right. She turned to meet my lips. We were school kids for the rest of the film. In the parking lot afterwards, she pulled me into the back seat of the extended cab of her rental pickup. Its new vehicle scent was soon swamped by her own. A musty morning in the woods wetness I could taste with every breath.
You can smell my pussy,
She said, raising her arms so I could lift off her shirt. Her son's name was inked inside a gold star on her breast.
He's a rock star.
She said, her nipples were small and hard. Well, I guess those are nips. I teased them with my teeth.
Harder.
She said. I bit down and she whimpered. Burying my face, I pressed her close from the back. My hands moved like starfish on the slopes of her shoulders and spine. Slippery smooth like the sea, she rocked in waves, plunging forward, easing back, rising up, crashing, then rising again. I was the moon, and she was high tide. She tore at my button-down shirt, promising to mend it later. Then she said,
Make me.
I didn't think she meant so, but I wasn't asking any questions. I would listen to her body, follow its direction, take her where she needed to go. I was at her service. I felt like I could do no wrong. We were rocking on our knees, my thigh between hers, our mouths hungry, greedy. The famine was over. I reached beneath her skirt, up the back of her thighs, to grip the waistband of her panties with both hands. I pulled it down just so while she wriggled to assist me, but I wouldn't get her bare ass just yet. I slipped my finger past the band, massaging the topmost spot between her cheeks. Working my way down, I paused just before her tightest hole.
Nah.
She said, untensing her muscles, she eased backwards. This forced my finger up inside. She grinned.
Oh.
I kissed her hard as she gripped my shoulders for support. I let her steer my finger with the movement of her bubble butt, as she called it, which I now grab with both hands stuffed inside her panties. She was a good driver and fast. I held on tight. When my wrist gave out, we lay down. I made her leave her skirt on as I brought her lace underwear up to my nostrils.
That's what all the girls do.
This threw me, but I didn't let her see it on my face. She groped for my cock, pressing hard against my jeans. She took the head in her fist and squeezed, vice-like. I wasn't complaining. Then the blessed sound of the unclasped belts, the zipper's teeth, gasp of freedom, fresh air. She tugged me like she wanted to snap it off. I thought on what she'd said all night about girls versus boys. I wondered if I was only necessary at best. I stretched around to get my hand between her thighs, but she pushed me off, taking me into her mouth with the same roughness of her touch. My mind went blank. After I came, she licked her chops like a trickster coyote. Her hair was mushed about her face, flushed and smiling. Now it was her turn. I walked my fingers along her thigh, but she swatted me away. She said she'd give me something to dream on. And that's the end of our